Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a Metroidvania set in the Star Wars universe with a serviceable story, adequate combat, but some incredibly frustrating controls. I give it a 7 out of 10. Transistor is a cyberpunk turn-based action RPG in which your votes don't matter, you get eaten by a dragon, and your boyfriend has a sword, but at least you get to go to the beach sometimes. I give it an 8 out of 10. Disco Elysium is a game in which a drunk amnesiac can paint a wall, talk to bugs, rebuild communism, and ask about the gays. I give it an 8 out of 10. Earth Defense Force 4.1 The Shadow of New Despair is an incredibly long third-person shooter where you protect the world from giant insects and robots while simultaneously destroying your wrists. I give it a 7 out of 10. Call of Duty World War II is a Call of Duty game set during World War II where you shoot Nazis with guns. I give it a 6 out of 10. Pokemon Legends Arceus has a lot of long-awaited changes to the traditional Pokemon formula. It's just a shame the story is boring and its battles are unbalanced. I give it a 6 out of 10. Omensight is a spiritual successor to Stories The Path of Destinies, where you replay the same day over and over from different perspectives until you decide you really hate rats. I give it a 6 out of 10. Metro 2033 is a first-person stealth shooter set in the metro system beneath Moscow, with some fun but jank gameplay and a non-zero number of crashes. I give it a 5 out of 10. God of War is a Norse-inspired action-adventure game about fulfilling your wife's last wishes and learning to take care of your son by beating the shit out of anything that gets in your way. I give it an 8 out of 10. Oxenfree is a narrative-focused adventure game where your choices affect how other characters treat you and how the game plays out, but which has some unclear dialogue at times. I give it a 7 out of 10. Monster Hunter Rise is a game I've spent so much time with that I can barely form a cohesive thought about it anymore, but wirebugs are definitely cool. I give it an 8 out of 10. Aperture Desk Job is a tech demo for the Steam Deck, but mine still hasn't arrived, so I had to play it on PC. I give it a 6 out of 10. Horizon Forbidden West is kinda conflicting for me, as I really enjoy much of the game, but it's buggy and awkward at times, though you can ride a Claw Strider, which is pretty cool. I give it an 8 out of 10. Metro Last Light is a stealth first-person shooter and sequel to Metro 2033, in which you feel bad for nuking a city and apologise to a child. I give it a 7 out of 10. My Friend Pedro is a stylish run-and-gun platformer, which I'm sure you'll have fun with if you're good at it, but I'm not and I didn't. I give it a 4 out of 10. Monument Valley 2 is an MC Escher-esque puzzle game with a heavier emphasis on story than the original, but with the same fantastic presentation and even more mind-bending puzzles and mechanics. I give it an 8 out of 10. Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of the first Yakuza game in which you slap a child because she hurts your feelings. I give it an 8 out of 10. Elden Ring is the Souls-like game I needed to really make me care about the genre again, with an overwhelmingly large open world and some neat characters and stories along the way, but which loses steam towards the end. I give it an 8 out of 10. Gris is a beautiful puzzle platformer about dealing with pain by turning into a cube, feeding apples to a tree man, and making friends with a turtle. I give it a 7 out of 10. Impostor Factory is yet another powerfully emotional story from Freebird Games, which delves into the creation of memory manipulation technology, though is severely lacking in platypuses. I give it an 8 out of 10. Hexcells Plus is the sequel to one of my favourite puzzle games and starts off great but eventually adds new mechanics which make the game less fun and more frustrating. I give it a 6 out of 10. Bayonetta 2 is my second favourite character action game, featuring time travel, pole dancing, angels, a trip to hell and deicide. I give it an 8 out of 10. Neon White is a slick, fast-paced speedrunner's heaven in which you take jobs from a cat to atone for your life as an assassin and earn the right to eat ice cream. I give it a 9 out of 10. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is a neon arcade game which is a lot of fun if you're obsessed with high scores but is quite shallow otherwise. I give it a 6 out of 10. Stray is a decent action-adventure game in which you solve puzzles by meowing, scratching and jumping, and is one of the few times where the cat isn't the cutest thing in the game. I give it a 7 out of 10. Vectronom is a bright rhythm platformer where everything moves to the beat and you either keep time or die. I give it a 7 out of 10. If Found is an exploration of depression, self-hatred, identity and family, also featuring an evil planet. I give it an 8 out of 10. Autonauts Vs Piratebots is a follow-up to one of my favourite games of 2019, this time focusing around combat, but which feels a lot more shallow and lacklustre than the previous game. I give it a 7 out of 10. Forager is a hybrid idle adventure game which starts off fun but becomes a bit of a slog past the halfway point. I give it a 6 out of 10. Omno is a puzzle platform game in the vein of the Pathless with cute animals and fun mechanics but has some real pacing issues towards the end. I give it a 7 out of 10. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a sprawling JRPG which may not quite reach the heights of the prior games but still tells an immense and emotional story where Lance is the MVP. I give it an 8 out of 10. Broforce is a run-and-gun homage to 80s action movies which would be better if half the characters weren't terrible and the puns were funnier. I give it a 6 out of 10. Kero Blaster is a pixel platformer where you exterminate pests for a teleporter business and take many trips to the hospital. I give it a 7 out of 10. Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope is a turn-based strategy sequel which made numerous changes to its design over the original and is much less fun for it. I give it a 6 out of 10. Morphblade is a fun but repetitive puzzle game where you murder bugs in a variety of different ways while trying to survive as long as possible. I give it a 6 out of 10. Bayonetta 3 is Devil May Cry 5 at home. I give it a 6 out of 10. Somerville is an adventure game which starts as a grounded tale with a sci-fi setting and devolves into a disinteresting mess past the halfway point. I give it a 7 out of 10. God of War Ragnarok is a truly spectacular story of how far one will go for family, destiny and vengeance. I give it a 9 out of 10. Pokemon Scarlet runs incredibly badly and is poorly balanced, but is also the first new Pokemon game I've enjoyed in almost a decade. I give it an 8 out of 10. Lil Gator Game is an adorable story where you eat cherry ice cream with a vampire, make lots of friends, and learn what's really important in life. I give it a 9 out of 10. Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of the first Yakuza game in which you slap a child because she hurts your feelings. I give it an 8 out of 10.